The profound silence that descended upon the world when Elias and Lena vanished was not the empty, chilling void typically associated with tragedy, but rather a resonant, purposeful stillness, a declaration of intent that spoke volumes without uttering a single syllable. Their disappearance, meticulously documented yet utterly inexplicable by the conventional metrics of loss, became a haunting testament to the limits of the known world and the boundless, sometimes terrifying, reach of genuine human aspiration. They did not simply disappear, they ascended, stepping deliberately out of the predictable monochromatic canvas of routine existence and into a vibrant, overwhelming saturation of pure, unfiltered destiny. The story begins, not with a frantic search party or a police report, but with a meticulously organized attic closet in a quiet, sun-drenched suburb of Denver. Elias, a software architect whose brilliance was only surpassed by his creeping existential boredom, and Lena, a non-profit director who channeled her immense capacity for empathy into a relentless, exhausting pursuit of superficial impact, had spent their adult lives building a fortress of comfort. Yet, inside that fortress, the air was thin, the walls felt like constraints, and the silence between them was increasingly less intimate and more isolating. Their trip, initially framed to their friends and colleagues as a sabbatical, a 6-month journey along the forgotten pathways of the ancient world, was, in truth, an expedition into the absolute zero of their own unfulfilled potential, a conscious effort to dismantle the structures of their past success and expose themselves to the raw possibility of true, unscripted living. And this is the essential galvanizing hook. Their last stop was not marked on any map, nor could it be reached by any conventional means of transport. It was a pilgrimage toward a concept, a geographical embodiment of a philosophical yearning they had secretly nurtured for years. What they were seeking was the rumored Ethelgard, a theoretical nexus point described in obscure, forgotten texts of cartography, a place where the rigid rules of linear time and predictable cause and effect were rumored to dissolve, allowing the traveler to experience reality not as a sequence of events, but as a boundless, simultaneous field of possibility. This was their grail, not a fountain of youth or a hidden treasure chest, but a vantage point from which to finally understand the grand interlocking mechanism of existence. The journey began conventionally enough, retracing the steps of historical seekers, from the labyrinthine souks of Marrakesh to the silent monasteries clinging to the peaks of the Himalayas. They documented everything, the shifting landscapes, the changing flavors of the light, the subtle evolution of their own psychological terrain. But the crucial shift, the moment the trip transformed from a mere travelogue into an odyssey of transformation, occurred 7 weeks in, high in the desolate salt flats of Bolivia. There, Elias discarded his meticulously curated briefcase, the last physical tether to his corporate life, and Lena, in a gesture that shocked even herself, gave away her entire photographic archive, releasing the need to document life and choosing instead to immerse herself fully in the act of living it. These were the first clues the world missed, seeing only the abandonment of possessions, not the strategic shedding of self. The police, when finally called upon months later, focused on the missing cell phone data and the untouched bank accounts, applying a rigid logic to an endeavor that was profoundly, intentionally illogical. They saw 2 missing persons. They failed to see 2 people who had finally, unequivocally, found themselves and chosen a path that rendered the concept of returning obsolete. The escalating pattern of their journey was fascinating, visible only through the fragmented pages of Lena's travel journal, which was later discovered tucked inside a hollowed-out stone at a remote way station in Patagonia. Each entry detailed not sights, but feelings. They spoke of the increasing lightness of their spirits, the profound clarity that came from sustained exposure to vast, untamed nature, and the intense, almost telepathic deepening of their bond. They were not merely hiking, they were exfoliating the years of accumulated societal expectation, preparing their minds and bodies for the profound shock of Ethelgard. The journal served as the primary witness to their evolution, detailing a process of constant challenge and profound reward. They walked for days without speaking, learning to communicate through the subtle language of shared breath and mutual anticipation. They faced physical hardships, blistering heat, unexpected storms, the grinding fatigue of traversing indifferent terrain, which Elias, in a rare moment of philosophical writing, dubbed the necessary friction. He wrote, "The true test of courage is not facing down a threat, but willingly walking into the dismantling of your comfort. If we truly seek the edge of reality, we must first find the edge of ourselves, and that place is not comfortable. It is raw, elemental, and utterly demanding." The pattern interrupt came during a brief return to civilization in a small coastal town in Chile. A flicker of doubt, a momentary relapse into the old conditioning. Elias caught sight of a news headline detailing a major technology merger, and for a fleeting, agonizing moment, he felt the familiar pull of ambition, the seductive whisper of influence and recognition. Lena saw the shadow cross his face, the ghost of the man who measured his worth by his output. She didn't lecture or plead. She simply took his hand, led him to the shore, and they stood silently, watching the immense indifferent power of the Pacific Ocean. The ocean, timeless and vast, offered a silent rebuke to the ephemeral concerns of the market. That night, the journal entry was stark, almost turned back. Saw the trap. The trap is believing that the world we built for ourselves is the only world. We burned the map of retreat. This deliberate turning away reinforced the second crucial hook. Their mission was not escape, but integration. They were not running from their lives. They were running towards a synthesis of intellect and spirit that modern society had deemed impossible. Their goal was to find a place where the internal landscape of the soul perfectly mirrored the external reality, thus achieving a state of complete, unwavering authenticity. This is what Ethelgard promised. Not miracles, but absolute truth. The final leg of the journey took them far south, beyond the reach of satellite connectivity and even the most aggressive governmental tracking. The coordinates they followed were cryptic, a sequence of astronomical alignments and geological markers that seemed to describe a metaphysical location rather than a physical one. This remote, windswept terminus, their last known stop, was characterized by two things: an overwhelming silence and an inexplicable light, described by a few scattered local indigenous stories as the light that swallows sound. The absolute climax of this narrative revolves around the objects recovered from the very last encampment, a makeshift shelter deep within a forgotten glacial valley, protected from the elements by sheer rock faces. The search party, organized much later and driven by Lena's relentless, skeptical sister, found only a few items, but they were revelations in themselves. There was no struggle, no sign of violence, no hurried packing. Instead, they found 2 neatly folded waterproof jackets, 2 empty water bottles, and a single heavy leather-bound journal, Elias's, which he had seldom used. The final entry, dated precisely to the day they vanished, contained no fear, no regret, and no details of the physical landscape. It was a dense, poetic monologue that served as the grand revelation, closing the loop on their choice. Elias wrote, "We stand now at the threshold. Ethelgard is not a mountain or a valley. It is the moment of pure, unified intention. We were searching for a place where reality bends, and what we found is that we are the axis upon which it turns." Lena holds my hand, and in her eyes, I see not the past we left behind, but the infinite present we are about to enter. The journey requires the final relinquishing of definition. We must stop being Elias and Lena, and simply be. The final sentence, meticulously inscribed, was the true payoff, the profound answer to the question of what they found. We are not missing. We are fully arrived. We are choosing the perpetual sunrise. Their disappearance was, therefore, not a mystery of tragedy, but a puzzle of transcendence. They had not been swallowed by the wild. They had chosen to become part of it, embracing a reality so fundamentally authentic that it rejected the very concept of limits or borders. Their last stop was the end of geography and the beginning of boundless self. The legacy they inadvertently left behind is a challenging, invigorating provocation. Elias and Lena did not leave behind a fortune, nor did they discover a lost city. They gifted us something far more valuable, the undeniable proof that when two people align their deepest intentions, when they reject the comfortable narrative assigned to them by the world, and when they dedicate themselves wholly to the audacious pursuit of ultimate self-discovery, they can achieve a fulfillment so total it makes the act of returning utterly unnecessary. Their vanishing acts as a powerful motivational mirror, forcing all who hear their story to confront the crucial question: if you were given the coordinates to your own Ethelgard, that place of absolute truth, would you have the courage to take the final irreversible step? Would you prioritize profound discovery over predictable safety? Their silence is the loudest call to action. Go and find your own last stop, the place where you must choose to either disappear from the expected or return empty-handed. The ultimate adventure is not out there. It is the distance between who you are and who you are destined to be.